Hello everybody, welcome to my channel again. Today we're going to be trying out Guns of Icarus, or rather we're going to be playing some. I've already tried it quite a bit actually. But Guns of Icarus is pretty simple for those of you who don't know it. Basically you're on a ship. The ship has a variety of guns, different stats, so on and so forth. These are just a few that are out there. But the main thing is that each ship has 4 players. Each Sorry about that, folks. I had my dashboard on to change the title and everything, and I forgot to turn off the preview video. Sorry about that. Anyways, like I said, each ship has a variety of weapons and different stats. For example, this one is very gun heavy, so you can expect it to be up in the front line. Something like this one, though, has a lot of hull, so it will be more tanker oriented. On the other hand, it only has a few guns. And like I said before, each ship has 4 players that are made up of 3 different character types. Captain, Mechanic, which is obviously my favorite, and Gunner. Now, what's the difference? Frankly, there's not much of a difference, actually. You're all basically the same character. The only difference is, for one thing, there can only be 1 captain per ship. Keep in mind I say per ship, not per team. Now, every character has 5 items they can equip. Everything over here is cosmetics. Kind of nice because you can unlock them through achievements and everything. I think there might be a store. Yeah, there's a store you can buy them at too. But these over here are given to every player. And basically, there's a variety of different items for each class. Which class you choose to be your main one, though, influences which one you have the most of. For example, if you are the captain or the pilot, you get 3 pilot equipment slots, but you only get 1 of the others. Same goes for the other ones. Now, each item has something slightly different. So there are different stats that they will tell you what they do. For example, a lot of the pilot ones change how the ship runs, how the engines are affected, so on and so forth. Some of them actually will damage your balloon or your hull, and some even your engines. So it's not a wise idea to use them too often, but on the other hand, they are good in a useful situation, and if you can talk to your engineers, and yes, this game does have voice support, if you can talk to your engineers, then it is much easier to manage those. Similarly, the engineers have a different variety of different ones. They really only have a couple. These are the 4 I don't have equipped right now. Correction. Well, correction, these are the 3 I have equipped. And I have the mallet and a wrench. It doesn't look like it's the pipe wrench, though. Oh, okay, that's right. Now, like I said, there are a variety of different ones here. They all have slightly different functions. I prefer the mallet, the spanner, and the fire extinguisher. The fire extinguisher is for when any item is obviously on fire. It doesn't do a whole lot of repairing, in fact, it doesn't look like it does any at all. But it puts out the fire, which constantly damages the part, and it also makes it immune for a couple of seconds. Plus, you see there that 2-second repair cooldown time. That's how fast the repair can work afterwards. I'll show you that more in a minute. And we got two others here, the mallet and the spanner. Notice the HP repair versus the rebuild power. HP repair fixes the component more before it's broken. The repair power, which is where the mallet has more HP, where the spanner has more repair power. The repair power basically says that once it is broken, it will repair it faster. So you would have to smack something about 2.5 times with a mallet to repair it as fast as you do with the spanner. They both. Also, the spanner has a slightly slower cooldown, so with the spanner you'll be able to repair an item faster. Now, I should point out that a common misconception in this game is the cooldown does not control how fast you can swing the mallet in this case. You don't have to wait 10 seconds to swing it again. But you do have to wait 10 seconds for anything else to be effective on it. That means that if I hit something with a mallet, even though the fire extinguisher doesn't actually increase the HP or anything like that, you won't be able to use anything else on that item until that cooldown wears out. And there's a little gauge that shows you that. I'll show you that in a bit. And then you got the gunner equipment. The gunner equipment is all slightly different, and as you can see, some of it can be quite extensive. So it's really a matter of choice which gun or which bullet you want and with which gun. For example, if you have the flamethrower, you don't really need incendiary rounds. If you have the mortar, which I think only has 2 shots, you probably don't want anything that reduces the clip size, even though it would help the recoil or the damage, because the reload time is by far the slowest thing in this game. But yeah, like I said, you can basically switch between them. This is showing my engineer loadout. There's my gunner. There's my pilot. You notice I don't really do pilot. It's not my thing. But each team is made up of 1 pilot and then 3 other people that are usually either 2 of one or 2 of one and 1 of the other. I don't believe the game will allow more than 1 pilot, because frankly, all these items only work while you're at the steering wheel, and there's only 1 steering wheel. That being said, if you're not the pilot, you probably want to use the spyglass, or maybe the rangefinder. The spyglass basically marks an enemy, allowing you to see it even if it's behind cover or inside the clouds or something like that, but it only works for so many seconds. And like I said, you can only mark up to 4 simultaneous targets. Most games are 2v2 or 3v3, so you don't really need to worry about that. But the rangefinder basically gives an indication of how far it is, so your gunners can then know when their gun is actually within range. So in most cases, you're going to want the spyglass. The gunners can figure out their own range. But we're going to go ahead and get started here. And remember, I said each ship has 4 players, so sometimes it does take a bit. Now keep in mind here when it says play, it is asking you which type you want. If I go into this menu here, I don't think I can switch over to a captain. Whereas I do this one, I am the captain and I choose the ship, but I can't switch over to one of the other ones as far as I know. And of course, you can invite invite friends to your crew. It's a great option if you are on Steam. Well, I believe this game is connected to Steam, but there is an option to play it without Steam. If you are on Steam, you can use this to invite all your other friends to it. So, we're going to play this, and it's going to do a bit of searching. There's usually a pretty high demand for gunners and mechanics, so that doesn't take us long. And you can see here, I am one of the crew members of the Infernus Mach 2. We also have the Force Entry on our side versus the blue team here. Now, the thing here to keep in mind is, like I said, each ship has 4 people, but since you can have more than one ship, I think this can actually be up to 16 players versus 16 players. But as the match indicate, or as the background indicates here, it's the first to win 5 kills on a ship. You can't actually directly attack another player, and you'll kind of be able to see that later. Furthermore, even if I jump off the side of the ship, besides the time it takes me to respawn, it doesn't really affect my teammates, thankfully. The nice thing about this game is it's a very good game that's kind of action-oriented, like a first-person shooter, but you're not actually shooting at each other, you're shooting at the other ships. So it's a little bit still high action, but less stressful.
Alright guys, welcome aboard. Hero, can I grab you to go up this ladder and jump on my Artemis for me on the right side? Great.
I can hear you doubled, so I can't really hear you at all.
As you can see, guys, there is voice chat control, and being able to
Sorry,
talk to
what did you
everybody does help.
I'll mute myself in Discord. Yeah,
thanks.
so your main.
Of course, it helps if I remember how
Okay, got it.
to do voice.
Shit, I should have taken a buff hammer. I had some achievements to hunt.
You can chat it.
It doesn't really matter. You can go ahead and get one if you want.
Huh, I forgot how to do it. I know K
Okay, I'll be
is
right back.
typing. Push to talk is X, okay.
So just hold off fires. We will have all 3 guns firing for the most part, most of the time.
You can see how that guy has a square around him. That means that they somebody marked him with a spyglass already. So now even if he goes behind the barrier there,
We'll go for the
we'll still
gypsy.
be able to see him for a couple of minutes. Now we're not getting
Okay.
shot at, so I don't
I'm
really
back.
have to worry about my job too much.
It's great. Yeah. Be ready to jump on the Banshee. We'll do that.
But there are several
So
different
if you can
components
get the turning engines or any of the guns of the Artemis, that would be great.
but you'll notice that I'm picking on the balloon here. See how it's deflating? That means it's taking a lot of damage. Once it's destroyed, which is happening to a lot of our stuff. Whoops. That was a bit of a fail. Okay, as you can see, if some of the stuff is red, that means it's destroyed and it's not functional. In terms of some of the guns, that's less important. But the engines do affect our maneuverability and our speed, which means it's harder for our helmsmen to get out of the way. That one here is destroyed. Notice how this pie is not filling up the same way. This pie only fills up once it's repaired, and that one fills up over time. That's the cooldown part.
I forgot how badly they nerfed the speed in Pyrrha.
So this is a lot of team management of basically running back and forth,
Just everyone on
Trying-
repair right now.
trying to get things repaired. And yeah, as you can hear our captain saying, it's time for us to basically run and get things fixed. Okay, so the important things here to watch out for are the hull, which once it's destroyed, we actually start taking structure damage. Yeah, once the structure damage hits 0, we die. But if we repair the hull, then we have basically a type of armor that we can use to soak up some blows. We remember it taking this long to respawn before, but yeah, they have made a few changes since last time I played. Okay, see how I just forced a reload there? That's because I switched over to my special ammunition type. Every time you do that, you do need to reload. But on the bright side, it will stay in effect until the next person has to reload. That was a pretty damn good shot if I do say so myself. You do have to be careful though, because like I said, some ammunition affects...
Just hold fire.
Some of our ammunitions do affect our reload and our clip size. So, since you're saying hold fire, you might as well reload now. Now there is an item where I could go around spraying buffing things, but I personally prefer to hide
He's
it.
too deep in the clouds.
This one here is kind of like a sniper rifle of sorts, whereas that one
Sometimes
over
if you
there
zoom
is
in,
a
you can spot them,
flamethrower.
but yeah.
And it looks like we took a little bit of structural damage here, which I doubt was because they fired at us, so I'm guessing our pilot used something that hurt this hull. I think there is one or two things, either that or maybe he scratched up against the mountain or something. Unfortunately, collisions do hurt. That's the reason why the balloon is important. The balloon itself will not kill us, but as the balloon is destroyed, we start falling and we will start scraping on the bottom, which hurts the hull a lot. Considering how long it takes to repair something, it's generally not a good idea. This is going to be bad. Yeah, they just rammed us, which hurts us too. Ramming is kind of a high-risk maneuver type thing.
Yeah, I might need some help down here.
Working on it. You can see there, once you get two people focusing on you, it can be very hard for even two mechanics to keep your ship flying. So you generally don't want to be in a position where both of them can nail you at the same time. At least the pilot there is admitting, I'm not going to say it's his fault, but he's admitting that he might have had something to do with it. Driving in between two ships is never a good idea. Ideally, if possible, you want to have one of them in between.
You ready to deploy?
Yep, sorry.
It's good.
Oh, they go on.
Now, one other thing to note is once you try to use the special ammo type, you need to make sure it stays there and reloads all of it. Otherwise, you basically have to restart the reload sequence when you start back up.
Okay, the gypsy is to the left, so we'll have to watch for fire from them. See if you can snipe the main gun out, if possible.
That's kind of hard to do at this range, but we'll give it a shot.
Maybe I should go in the Artemis next time. Actually, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah, I wanted gun ammo, but you know, that's fine. It's not essential.
Yeah, he'll do fine. I hope, maybe. Don't worry about it. No pressure. I'll need some help then. You're about to go down.
Almost, there's that one.
Now, the important thing here is to remember to fill up the repair with the wrench, but use the hammer once it is to get the maximum effectiveness. You can see how this is kind of glowing. He buffed it at some point. Items that are buffed will take reduced damage and perform better. So our
Yeah,
engines
it's
give
their
us more
second
speed.
advantage tank. Cool.
Okay, we got
Good
one down.
kill.
Good job.
Let's take a look here. Balloon's good. That engine's good. That engine's good. Okay, see that bar there on the right? That's how much structure we have. Like I said, once that runs out, we're dead.
Can we get autos on the engines? Good.
Oops.
We're gonna ram them.
We have to kill them or else their ally is gonna fuck them from behind.
Yeah.
Okay, we got both of our other guys there on the gun.
Yes!
So
No, wait, tell our ally to get out of there.
okay. Oh, we got hit hard there.
I'm not sure if we'll have a chance.
Balloon's still damaged. I think that gunner up there can get his own gun.
Nice.
That is something that generally tends to help if you are the gunner. Don't just run to another gun. See if you can prepare your own gun.
Ooh.
It helps reduce
Pretty
the
close.
stress for the mechanics. Because
If
as you
our
can
ally
tell,
survives this, holy shit. Murder Gypsy?
Let's go, Gypsy.
because as you can see, we do have to. The mechanics do have to run around a lot, and I think our
Can
captain
I at least
is
revive
running our
yourself?
engines.
Kira, you
but-
don't need to be down there all the time. Just when everything's red. I need autos most of the time.
Ah, shoot.
Oh.
Oh well.
So as you can see, we get a wide variety of people there that all have different styles. And you can see our stats there as well as why is it not letting me commend them? Okay. Okay, you can vote to do a rematch right afterwards, which is always nice, but not necessary. I think after this, I think we'll do one more match, and then we'll call it a day for today. But I will probably be playing a couple of rounds of these every now and then. So don't worry, this is not going to be the last you see of it. Now we get to vote on which map we want. I don't think we can see how many people vote on what. Frankly, it doesn't really matter. You're flying around in airships, so what the ground and the sky look like around you, not so important. There are some wrecks and mountains and stuff like that you need to avoid, but that's mainly the pilot's job. And you can kind of see here that you got one pilot, one gunner, two mechanics. One pilot, one gunner, two mechanics. Sometimes you get two gunners, but in most cases, two mechanics are pretty standard because both mechanics can fire if necessary. And if you're getting shot at a lot, you're really going to want both mechanics trying to fix things. And one mechanic running around trying to fix everything can be done. Because remember that hammer has a pretty long cooldown on it. But trying to run around in a circle while smacking every component out there while under fire, it's not as easy as it sounds. especially since most of these aren't. Most ships are not exactly built like a track. Like this one here has multiple layers. The engines are back here, the balloons up here, the hull is down here. So you all have to be careful. This was the one I think we were just on. No, it's not. This one here is probably one of the easier ones to repair because everything's in a straight line. Also has a pretty good hull strength. But there are other ones that are a little bit more convoluted, let's put it that way. I think this was the the map we voted for, so that's kind of nice. I should point out, even though this looks like water down here, it's still treated as ground. So if your balloon goes down, even if you're not landing on a piece of ice, you are still taking damage. Why? Lazy programmers, I guess? I should rephrase that. Sometimes I say lazy programmers, but I never actually mean to insult the person that's making these games. A lot of times, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. So, yeah. Okay, they want one NG on top and one on bottom. The gunner can kind of move in between, but that means my job is pretty simple because all I have to do is take care of the guns and the balloon. And maybe if a lot of things start going right there, I might ignore the captain and start going down there myself. This is kind of the tense early moment because since the allies and us are all in the same spot, we're not 100% sure on where the enemies are. On the other hand, the same thing applies to them. Ah, somebody tagged them before I had a chance to. This one is more of a magnum than an actual sniper rifle. But it works. See how their pilot is trying to get them up into the air as fast as possible? Because they know their balloon is taking a lot of damage. The downside to being a gunner is your guns do have a certain amount of range. So, for a certain amount of swivel. So you're kind of at the whim of the pilot, making sure he gets you within lines of the shots. Oh! See how that pie there is filling up, and every time I whack it, it's not actually helping us at all? That's because it's still on cooldown. Dude, I got this, go. Okay, he wanted 2 people up top, or 1 engineer up top, so I'm gonna try to stay up there as much as possible. Captain's orders and everything. I think the hardest part about this, about being a gunner, is trying to figure out every gun's projectile speed, for lack of a better word. Oh, that was not good. Balloon's fine though, so let me get down. There we go. Now, as I said before, technically the engines aren't really that important as far as your HP or anything goes, but if your engines are down, you're kind of a sitting duck, so it's a good idea to keep everything you can up to snuff. Yeah, just rammed each other. Not a good sign. In my general opinion, as an engineer, ramming things is rarely a good idea. If you think your opponent is really damaged, then maybe go for it. But generally speaking, you're going to do just as much damage to them as you are going to, as they are going to do to you. Yeah, spawning can always be a little bit fun. Okay, it looks like I get to be the one down here today. Are they friendly? Not sure, I can't tag them. Sometimes you can tag, sometimes you can't. Depends on the cloud cover. Okay, so I can't tag him, so that must have been an enemy over there, wherever they went. They're probably off hiding, trying to repair now. Yeah, you see what I said about the being at the mercy of your captain? I can't go over any further than that. The nice thing is, as things start taking damage, you'll notice that on the side of my display here, it will start showing up what direction they are and what their health bar is. Yep, and once again, I can't fire at anybody. Jump up. Unfortunately, jumping this game is kind of pathetic. I think I can jump these rails, but that's about it. And no, there is no fall damage. Remember, player damage doesn't actually mean anything. It's all about the ships. And he's starting to gas our engines with, I'm guessing that was kerosene, but I'm not sure. which means they're going to take constant amount of damage but have a higher output. Sometimes if you want to close the ground quickly, that is a very good idea to go. Okay, and when you don't have anything to repair, you should really be on the lookout. Because you do get a little bit of points or achievements and whatnot if you spot somebody. That's our friend down there. Because there's no way he had cloud cover. They're about to drive us into a cloud. Clouds aren't bad. They do damage some of the ships, like the engines and whatnot, a little bit, but only on certain maps. It depends on how thick the cloud is, too. He's keeping us up pretty high, which, in my opinion, is rarely a bad sign. Where are they at? And that's our friend. With us being so high and him being so low, there's a good chance that they'll go after him. I actually like being high because the balloon does deflate. That gives us more time to repair it before we hit the ground. Looks like either ally is coming up there with us or we're dropping down. I'm not sure. Doesn't look like we're actually moving at all. We're kind of dead stopped and waiting for them to come to us. I should point out there is nothing preventing the pilot from grabbing a gun too if he feels like it, or if he has a hammer or something, he can run around doing repairs too, but leaving the ship flying in a direction with no pilot, not a good idea. If we were badly injured and he had us up here standing still, by all means, but yeah, if there's a possibility we can crash, not a great idea to be without a pilot. Rock. Like I said, there is rubble, and yes, you can crash into it. Kind of surprised our teammate didn't crash into that. But you got rocks, you got oil tankers, you got a couple of maps, you got battleships you have to watch out for. Let's see here. Here's the map. See our teammate, and I think if we spot an enemy, they show up on the map too. But we got to spot them first. And yeah, some of the debris and mountains do get up pretty high, so just because you're above the cloud layer doesn't mean anything. Tense music starting back up. Are we next to somebody? No, not next to our teammate. team member was making some sort of reference, but I'm afraid I missed the chat. Oops. The chat is something you should be paying attention to because not everybody has mics. So sometimes they'll do, oh, there we go. 6 o'clock low. 6 o'clock low. Not everybody has mics or keyboards. Or sorry, everybody has a keyboard. Not everybody has mics or speakers. So paying attention to the chat is a good idea for those people who can't actually see it. Looks like they're both out there gunning already. I could use this gun, but I know that's not going to do much. The Doom took a small hit, but nothing major. The hull took a lot of hit. Hull down again. Yep, okay. There are some guns that are very, very nasty. For example, there's one that's basically like a rocket launcher. You only get 1 or 2 shots, but it just launches 80 rockets. Well, not 80, but like 20. And then you have to wait for a reload period. Pretty long one if memory serves, but those 20 rockets can do a lot of damage if you get a good hit. So that's the reason why our hull went from like full to like next to 0 almost right away. Remember how I said those tooltips on the side of the menu were showing us where the damage was. I'm pretty sure we didn't take hits already, so that would have been Captain doing something.
Increase ship altitude!
That was one of those emotes I talked about. That wasn't somebody actually speaking. And again, I can't hit anybody. That gun's not... Okay. That gun over there is not exactly made for winning anyway, so... And these are all progress to your achievements and your stats. You don't really get kills in this game, it's just stats. I'm not sure why I was unable to leave, but there's also a button here that says add crew to friends. I think that means your Steam friends or your in-game friends. I don't think they're a separate list. So I think we're going to call it a day there for now. That gave us two different fights, and we'll probably be back shortly for more. Real quick, I will show you though, like the progress and everything. You do get different titles for different levels and everything, and these keep track of all your stats, which in turn keeps track of your badges and everything. Your achievements primarily are what unlock your rewards. So, like that one there, pilot level 4, pilot level 10, so on and so forth. Same with the other stuff here, but I believe the achievements are what unlock dies and like, I guess not. Did they all go down to, yeah, there we go, they're down level 2. So next one is going to be at 13. there's a couple of achievement ones. These are different badges, which, yeah. And they say achievements, but frankly, these remind me more of the challenges from like Call of Duty and the like, because they're like play 2 matches, fully repair 30 parts, rebuild 10 parts, and just kind of keep on escalating. So, for example, to get the next version of this career here, or to get this achievement, I have to win 8 matches. Well, I just have to play 8 matches, but I also have to spot 12 ships. All my other matches will count towards this one, I think. Actually, no, I don't think they will, actually. Let me see here. Games played 29. So that's 2, 12, 22, 32. So yeah, I got several games that are not being counted towards my achievements yet because I need to extinguish fires and spot 12 ships. It's not really hard. You can kind of tell we lost some games early because of that. I don't usually buff parts, so that sometimes is annoying when you have to get something that you don't normally do. But spotting ships and extinguishing fires, usually I do. The only problem is you have to have a fire to extinguish first, and then spotting your enemy ships, you're kind of competing against all 4 of your teammates for that one. So, but you got other ones too that you can focus on, like buff 12 guns. So I need to get the buff item again. And that is one of the nice things is if you have layout, you can switch. So that one's actually the same thing, but that just has my incendiary rounds instead of my plasmic rounds. These basically increase how far they fly and the speed. In all sense, it basically increases the range. Whereas these ones have a 20% chance to cause anything to ignite. Great for most guns. I mean, the sniper rifle and stuff like that, where it's really slow, is kind of questionable. But if you have the minigun or you have that rocket launcher I was talking about earlier, every round has a 20% chance. So the more times you hit your target, the more chances something starts on fire. The downside is it does have a slower projectile speed, lower clip, and a lower rate of fire. So, win some, lose some. And these are the burst rounds, or I like to call them explosive rounds, because they can affect multiple components from where you hit. Like if you hit a gun, you almost always hit the hull. But if you hit the hull, you can also have the chance of hitting the other components around it. You can sometimes hit 2 or 3 engines with this if they're really close together. And this is the chemical spray. That's one of the buff items. I want to say the fire extinguisher is also considered a buff item because of the immune to fire buff, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But you got that. Let's hear that one lasts for 3 seconds, where it basically boosts the efficiency of everything. It also, I think that one also acts as a little bit of repair. Nope, guess not. But there are some stats there that you need to be careful of if you're like the pilot. For example, the negative 25 vertical drag and 100% lift force means that we ascend faster. And if you're a pilot and you don't know that your balloon's buffed, that can sometimes be a bad thing if you're like flying under somebody or something or whatever. But yeah. But This here is the pipe wrench. Some people like that instead of the hammer and the other wrench because it's kind of an in-between tool. Middle repair tool or cooldown time. Has almost as much HP repair as the hammer and almost as much repair power as the wrench. But yeah, it's personal preference. So, like I said, I think we'll leave it there for today. Hope you guys had some fun learning about the game, and we'll talk to you next time.